In level 1, we will be reviewing finding missing angle measures when you're given the value of a trig function. In the first example, we are finding all possible angle values over the interval 0 to 2 pi, which is all of the values in our unit circle. So in part A, when we find sine of theta equals -1/2, we're looking for the angles that have a sine value of -1/2 or a y-coordinate of -1/2, which happens at 7 pi over 6 and 11 pi over 6. So theta would equal 7 pi over 6 or 11 pi over 6. In the next one, we're looking for the places in the unit circle where cosine of an angle is 1 or the x-coordinate is 1. And that happens over here at 0, and that's also coterminal with 2 pi. Those are both in the interval. So theta equals 0 or 2 pi. And in the last example, we want to know which angles have a tangent value of radical 3, which happens when you have a coordinate of radical 3 over 2 divided by 1/2. That gives us radical 3. So we want a y value of radical 3 over 2 and an x value of 1/2, and we need this tangent value to be positive. Tangent values are positive in quadrant 1 and quadrant 3, and at pi over 3 and 4 pi over 3, we would get a tangent value of radical 3. So theta would equal pi over 3 or 4 pi over 3. In the next part, we're not just looking at the interval from 0 to 2 pi. We're trying to find all the possible values of an angle. In 2a, we want to find all possible values of theta that have a cosine of 0 or an x-coordinate of 0. And that happens at pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2 on the unit circle, but it also happens with any angle that's coterminal with pi over 2 and any angle coterminal with 3 pi over 2. So that's going to be pi over 2, 3 pi over 2. If I add another half circle to that, it would be 5 pi over 2, 7 pi over 2, and so on. Also negative pi over 2. And there's an infinite number of angles that are coterminal with those angles. So the way we would represent this is if I start at pi over 2 and add any number of half circles, I'm going to get another angle that's coterminal with either pi over 2 or 3 pi over 2. So I say pi over 2 plus pi k, because a half circle is represented by pi, and this is where k is any integer. So that just means any multiple of pi, starting with pi over 2 and adding any multiple of pi will give us all possible coterminal angles. Okay, the next part, we want to know all possible angles that have a sine value of radical 3 over 2, or a y value of radical 3 over 2. That's pi over 3 and 2 pi over 3. And then also any angles coterminal with those. So starting with pi over 3, I could add a full circle to that, so add 2 pi, and I would get another coterminal angle. I could add another 2 pi and get another coterminal angle. So I can add any multiple of 2 pi to pi over 3. So we say pi over 3 plus 2 pi k. Or we could have 2 pi over 3 plus any multiple of 2 pi, so plus 2 pi k. And that would be all possible angles that have a sine of radical 3 over 2. And our last one, we want to find all the places on the unit circle that have a tangent value of -1. Tangent is negative in quadrants 2 and 4. And we're going to get tangent values of -1 at 3 pi over 4 and 7 pi over 4. So 3 pi over 4, if I add a half circle to that, I get 7 pi over 4. If I add a half circle to that, I get an angle coterminal with 3 pi over 4, and if I add a half circle to that, I get another one. So I can add any number of half circles to this, so I'm going to say plus pi, because that's a half circle, times k, where k is any integer.